What the fuck is going on? I don't know
We
if this
back.
shit's working or not,
Live,
but here
top
we
left.
are.
It's live. We're good.
We're going
It's
to be
live
starting
on
in a
mine, bro.
minute. It's live?
It says live at the top left on mine, 20 seconds. So we're live. You know
I
what?
just gotta make sure
I'm
it's
gonna go on
coming
my
into YouTube.
phone. Hold on, let me go on my phone while I'm recording while you're doing this.
See if you can watch on YouTube.
I am. It's saying live in 30 seconds.
Because it's scheduled for 8.
Yeah, so I mean this might be recording, but they might not be able to see it until no, we're up. Hold on, let me go on my phone while I'm recording while you're
Oh,
It's
so
a
it's
li-
delayed a little bit.
it's
All right,
delayed a
that's
little
fine.
bit, yeah. It's delayed, but we're good.
All right, so it's showing though. So that means we're good. Can you hear everyone?
I am. It's saying live.
Let's go, baby. All right.
It's scheduled for 8.
It's ahead by 30 seconds, so let's get it.
And we're going live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to No Handle, episode number 6. We got your boys Casey and Bones, along with our special guest for the evening, Joey Brooklyn on the screen, Joe Mallett in our hearts. What's up, Joe? How you
Joe
doing?
Mallett.
How we doing, boys? Happy to be here, baby. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. Glad you joined. All right, boys. Well, we got some bad news to start off with. I think everybody already knows about all this, but obviously Hawkins canceled. We ain't going to be able to make that 500 grand, kid. Sorry, Ken. Came along with the cancellations of everything else, the Olympics, NBA, MLB, anything, you name it. The COVID-19 virus ended it. What are you guys' initial thoughts on all the cancellations? Because I know we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet on the podcast. So,
I mean, it's disappointing, dude. I think like every other person that watches sports, it's a shocker. It's disappointing. It's upsetting. I'm really upset about Weehawking. I mean, me and you have been hyped about that for weeks now. Just got taken out right from under us. You made a quick 6K, so you shouldn't be too upset over there, bud.
yeah, for anyone who was following along, they paid me out 6,000. Like they sent me an email right when this was before the NBA or NCAA got canceled. So it was like we weren't sure if it was still going on, but it was a week before the event. They emailed me. They're saying they're going to pay out 6K because 7K was the entry or 6K was the entry fee. So I'll take it. But like we were going to bring home that 500 G's.
I was hyped, bro. We were ready to go. We were ready to fucking roll.
Oh,
I gotta say, boys, like, I don't think that I realized how serious this virus was right up until they were like, "Hey, by the way, NBA is canceled," and then I was like, "Oh shit! Like, they're not fucking around now." The minute they
that was like the turning point, right?
They were like, "Oh, by the way, there's no March Madness." I was like, "Oh my god, we're fucked. We're so fucked."
When they said March Madness, that really was like, "Are you fucking serious, bro? Like, really? This is really happening right now?"
They're like, "All right, well, guess we're beat."
As soon as Rudy Gobert got that, you knew that all sports.
What up, Hearts? We got our first live viewer.
First live viewer.
Hearts. So what's up, baby? How you doing? How you doing?
But yeah,
man.
That was fucking tough. That was a tough day, man. Just watching sports just drop. You're just like, dude, like, this is not, this is the most. That was when I was like, this is the most serious situation I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, I think anybody.
And you're right. Like it was like once the NBA got canceled, it was just like a what's it called? Fucking snowball effect after everything just followed suit. And I don't know, man. It was really upsetting to me. And this kid, Kenny, can you imagine seeing him without betting for a couple weeks? Because like I can't believe he's still alive. Thought he'd be dead by now.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you something real quick, and whoever's watching this is watching it. I'm gonna admit to you, I saw table tennis on yesterday, a little ping pong action, and you know what? I did a little 3-team parlay. I hit 2 out of 3. I didn't hit, but I needed some action, dude. I'm fucking losing my mind. I really need sports back. As you can see, I'm fucking losing it. So I'm hoping that this shit clears up soon. I'm hoping that they at least bring the NBA back because we need something back, and I'm hoping that this virus is contained and done with soon enough.
If it's any consolation to you, Kenny, I was watching the 2006 Hamburger Eating World Championships on Sunday afternoon, and I really seriously contemplated throwing down some money on it.
What about the
Dude,
rock
we gotta
skipping? They had rock
Did you guys
skipping on.
see- Yeah, and they were doing the games where they would just simulate a NBA game. Did you see that? I actually put in a daily fantasy lineup for it, but it didn't hit. It was like, dude, literally Chris Middleton went for like 65 in this simulated game. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Simulations, dude. You never
Dude, it
know.
was crazy. It was insane. Oh, all right. Let's get into a little bit about the virus because we actually did a podcast a few days ago, but ended up not working. So we want to just talk about it a little bit. Joey, initial reactions?
It's kind of funny. Like, I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me about this is just how sort of quickly everything kind of came together. Like it starts off, you hear about it in China, and like obviously China's not doing well, and you're kind of like, that doesn't sound good, but like we're good, And then you hear about one case in Washington, and you're like, it's the other side of the coast, we're good. And then within 3, 4, 5 days, it goes from first case in New York to sports canceled to all of a sudden I've been locked in my apartment for like a week, and it's crazy to think of how quickly everything just sort of like spiraled out of control.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, the USA now is over 50,000 cases, and it's just climbing as we speak. Like when we did the podcast last, it wasn't even above 25,000, and that was 2 days ago. 2 days ago. So, and that's what they said. It has a doubling rate of around 2 to 3 days. It's actually getting really scary. I mean, like my dad said he was working in our town today, and we're really far from like the rest of you guys, Bergen County and whatever. But even in Hackettstown, he said the streets were like empty at like 4:00. Like that's just like a scary sight.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going out like occasionally throughout the day in Hoboken just to sort of, check on my city. And there's nobody here, man. The streets are dead. I mean, this creepy seeing all the stores closed, the bars closed. It's just quiet all the time. Like it's
Oh, I've seen you walking around. Don't worry. I've seen you walking around a little bit.
But I've heard more calories come out with the gym closed. But yeah, dude, it's a weird, it's a weird times right now for sure.
Kenny, you got anything to say about the virus, my son?
No, dude, I don't have anything else to say. I just need sports back. That's it. That's all I got to say about this.
I can't believe you're even holding up, to be honest.
I don't know how I meant. I don't know either, dude. It's like I'm becoming immune to it now. I don't really know what to say. I'm kind of speechless as I could talk forever and I don't know what to say right now. So, yeah, that's it. Let's just move on to the next topic.
The worst part, wait, one last thing. The worst part to me right now is that I'm convinced in my own head that this is just how my life is now.
It's changing everything.
Like I've forgotten what watching sports is like. It's done. To me, it's gone. It's part of a past thing that's no longer with me. And I just have never all I'm going to do every day is go for a walk, work from home, work out in my kitchen, which is absurd, and then just watch documentaries until I go to sleep. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, yep, this is it. This is what my life's going to be.
I know, man. It's really upsetting. It's like it just feels like something is missing all the time. Like I would always just get home and just throw on sports while I'm doing other shit. But now it's just like I'm watching OJ Simpson. Like I don't give a shit about that. Fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I got faces on. It's just like, oh, this is something from a pre-apocalyptic world,
Yeah, right. So before we get into sports, I see you, Jerry, in the comments. I'm gonna pull it up in a minute. But before we get in, I just want to ask you guys, do you think there's any sports that we could keep playing? Like the PGA Tour or bowling, if you're into bowling? Like what sports can continue if this virus doesn't get better exponentially fast? Because it's getting exponentially worse. Joe, you could go first.
I mean, I'd love to sit here and say that there's something, just because I'm just craving something, some sort of live competition. But at the moment, it's just not the smart thing to do, I don't think. I mean, there's no safe way to travel. There was a guy who was on the other day talking about how for every one person who contracts the virus, they'll spread it to an average of 3 people. That's just not. It's just not a safe time. Like if we really want to get this to die down, everyone's just got to stay inside. That's just. I mean, it's the unfortunate truth. So as much as I'd love sports to be able to be played in some aspect, if we have to go without it for things to sort of go back to normal quicker, then unfortunately, I think that's the route we got to take.
Bones, how about you?
No, it was definitely the smart thing for them to do. I mean, like I was saying before, as soon as Rudy Gobert got it, you knew that it was going to be a trickle effect. I have high hopes for the NBA, though, still. I do think that since they do play indoors, they can push the season back. But, canceling the Olympics is huge. It was very important for them to do that. And even, PGA postponing. But even the PGA, I know that you say that, you're in favor of them keeping it. I just think that with everything that's going on right now, how the virus just keeps spreading and that it's hard to contain, shutting all sports down, as painful as it is the right thing to do. But yeah, I'm hoping that basketball does come back, and like Mallett said, hopefully we get some live competition soon.
Yeah. On that note, Mark Cuban actually made a comment today. I don't know if you guys saw, but and he was saying how he expects it to be back before June 1st. But he said that's like the over-under date, like that they're fighting around. But, I mean, like, it's not up to him. Like, at the end of the day, this is a bigger thing. I don't think it's going to come back that soon. I hope it does, but all we can do is wait and see. It just really depends on this virus.
Well,
but,
yeah.
What do you got?
I was going to say one thing that is important to keep in mind about the NBA in terms of coming back is that in order to get the amount of money that they expected to get from television deals, they need to play a certain amount of games this season, and they haven't played that amount of games yet. So if there is a way for them to come back with fans, without fans, whatever it may be, the NBA is going to come back. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for the virus, we'll leave that alone. But if there is a league that has a chance to rekindle, it's going to be the NBA because money talks, baby.
Money does talk. Money does talk.
I just want to talk a little bit about we're gonna get into the NFL. I see all the comments. People want to know where people are going, but I see you, Concept. What's up, boy? But I just want to mention, like, my personal opinion, I don't think that this shutdown is gonna work the way that we've been doing it. I just don't see how some states can be in a lockdown and some states aren't at different times. And then, like, let's say 2 weeks later in Indiana, their case numbers started getting bad, and then they do a shutdown after we uplift ours. I just think it's going to start spreading again. And I don't know. What are your guys' opinions on that? Because I feel like if we don't do everything like coordinated together, that it's not going to make a difference that actually lasts.
I mean, I think it's a big difference, but I see what you're saying. Like, it's definitely, I wish that this was a federally regulated thing. Because, even for example, like New Jersey deemed liquor stores essential, thank God, but Pennsylvania didn't. So Pennsylvania liquor stores are shut down. So Pennsylvania residents are just going to come into New Jersey to buy their alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole point. I'm like, you can't blame them. Alex, let's be real. If the positions were flipped, we'd all be going to PA to buy our booze. Like, if we're all on the same page, then I think it would be much more constructive. But unfortunately, like, this is going to help. But you're right; it's not going to help in the way that it could be. If we just shut all travel, everything down for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it needs to be, I think that would make a lot more sense. But
yeah, like in theory, if we shut everything down for 2 weeks, nobody could leave their homes. Like, I get there's a lot of implications with the economy and just like people that are struggling to survive. But if we did shut everything down for like 2-3 weeks as a nation, then we would know who was sick. So we could have them in hospitals and limit the spread like significantly, if not completely, like abolish it. Kenny, you got anything to say about this before we move on to sports?
Upset, man. He doesn't want to talk about this anymore.
Dude, I'm over this, but I've been saying this for weeks now. When I was saying is March Madness going to happen, is the NBA going to get canceled? I said that they should have shut down public transportation immediately, airlines, everything. I mean, if you're really trying to contain this, like how you guys were saying, you can just cross borders, you can go into other states. So I don't see how they can fully contain it if the whole country doesn't shut down for 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, I mean, you don't really know what's going to happen, and we're hoping that it ends soon, because once again, I'm sick and tired of this shit. I need my sports back.
All right.
Nice.
All right, So Jerry asked us, how about Syndergaard getting that TJ? Let's go to Kenny first, the Mets fan himself. How you feeling, buddy? How you feeling about this?
As a New York Mets fan, Coffee, Allen, all my New York Mets fans, it is fucking disgusting to hear another year of injury prone before it even starts. Let me ask you something. You're in quarantine. You're in quarantine, right? What the fuck are you doing? How could you possibly get Tommy John surgery now? That means last year you had problems that you didn't say to the team. So why the fuck are you bringing it up now? You already have a season that's probably going to be 120 games max. So I mean, maybe it's smart to get it this year, but dude, we just made a lot of moves. I thought we were going to be healthy this year, getting Cespedes back, Cano finally getting healthy again, full squad, boom, down goes Syndergaard. So how do I feel about it? I feel disgusted, and this doesn't help that sports are not being played. But now when baseball comes around, I got to deal with this shit too.
Seems like such an obvious thing that was going to happen to the Mets. I'm surprised you didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I saw a glimpse of it. I did, but I just didn't want to say anything about it.
Joey, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to speak on this too much because I think I give Mets fans enough shit. But I mean, just typical Mets. We didn't even make it to spring training. I guess we technically would have if the whole thing didn't happen. But like, it's what, March 20 something, and these guys are already ruining their season. I mean, same year, same shit. I mean, it's whatever at this point.
Yep, I agree. And who knows? The Mets could still be competitive, but it's going to be a lot harder now.
They could be, but I mean, who's the next guy who's going to get hurt? Cespedes fucking tore his Achilles, like riding a bull or something. Like, it's just a circus, So
in quarantine?
In quarantine.
Oh,
in fucking quarantine. No, I wasn't in quarantine.
If that was in quarantine, oh my god. But no, I mean, I feel bad for Syndergaard, from a competitor perspective, but it's just, it's the Mets, man.
Yeah. So in lieu of all the cancellations, at least there's one thing still going on. The NBA or NFL free agency. At least we've been able to follow and keep up on that. So we're gonna have plenty of time in the upcoming podcast to get into baseball and all that. But for now, let's focus on what personally is my favorite sport, the NFL, and I'm pretty sure it's yours too, Joe. I don't know about you, Ken, but
all sports are equal for me. Doesn't matter.
So let's start off with the big one. Tom Brady as a Buccaneer. It's crazy to say, crazy to hear, but is it going to be crazy effective or is it going to turn out bad? What do you guys think?
Kenny, you go.
Yeah, Ken, you go first.
Well, I want to say this from our previous podcast. This is for Vito and this is for UKC. I've told you guys that behind the scenes, there was problems with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And you guys both called me out and told me that it had nothing to do with this and I was absolutely crazy. Well, if you fucking turn on ESPN First Take any day this week or last week, it's finally coming out now. Bill Belichick just doesn't praise his players. And Tom Brady is the GOAT, and he's the one that should have been praised all along. That's just the way he is. But Tom Brady felt that he was disrespected. Bill Belichick thought that Tom Brady's on his way out, and he, was actually trying to get rid of Tom Brady instead of Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers. Not sure if you guys heard that story leaked the other day, but I've been watching SportsCenter for about 9 times on repeat in a day, so I know every fact to the T. I think it's really good, though, that he did leave New England because there was no pieces on that offense. Going, to Tampa Bay, he gets out of the AFC. He doesn't have to deal with Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have to deal with Patrick Mahomes. So in a sense, he's getting a new start. He's got a pretty solid offense, a lot of work to do. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he has to do in Tampa Bay. He's going to stir that division up a little bit, hopefully give the Saints some competition. And I'm looking forward to see if they can make a playoff push-up run this year.
All right, but before you go, Matt, let me just set Kenny straight right here. First of all, kid, that is not what I fucking said. Like, you're putting words into my mouth. You were the one saying that they had a personal issue between them. Like, they didn't, like, that is just the way that Bill Belichick is. It's not that he had any problem with Tom Brady. That's just the type of person he is. And that was the argument I made in the other podcast and last time. I don't understand. Like, it wasn't like him and Tom Brady weren't, like, close. Like, they were, like, separated from each other, like, didn't like each other. It was just that Bill Belichick might think that Tom Brady's on his way out and doesn't want to pay him $60 million. That has nothing to do with personal issues. It's about the team, and Bill Belichick's always been about the team. So I think we don't have to get too into that because I know we already talked about it, but that's just my take on it. Mal, what do you think?
Listen, all due respect to Tom Brady and his 6 Super Bowls, his 9 Super Bowl appearances, and all those things, you could have had almost not any. But you take a top 20 quarterback every year and put it on the Patriots, and they could do what he does. The guy is a fierce competitor. He seems like he's a good leader. He's probably a nice guy. I never had a personal conversation with him, but I'm sure he's a fine man. But at the end of the day, the only reason why he got this contract from the Buccaneers is because the Bucs have been so bad for so long that they need somebody to come in and change that culture around completely. And he's going to do that. And they'll probably be better in the long run for it. But there's a reason why the best coach in professional sports history no longer wanted this man as a part of his team. If he was still that good, you think Belichick would have let him walk? He would have paid him whatever he wanted. Tom Brady hasn't made those Super Bowls. Bill Belichick has made those Super Bowls. And Bill Belichick is going to prove that now that Tom Brady's gone. The Raiders called Tom Brady's agent to see what his contract parameters would be. And they were like, yeah, no thanks. And signed Marcus Mariota instead. What does that tell you about how Tom Brady's looked at in the league right now? He didn't even have other teams interested besides the Chargers. So it's great, all the things that he's done in the past, but I think that speaks a lot about how the league views him and where he is as a quarterback now. Competitors aside, I'm just talking about him as a quarterback. I think that speaks volumes about where he's at in his career, that the only contract offer infirm that he got was from Tampa Bay. I mean, come on. They'll be fine. They'll probably be more competitive with him than last year because Jameis Winston literally had 2 turnovers a game at least. But 9-7, maybe 10-6, tops.
Okay, we're gonna discuss that a little more later, just in our Leave It or Believe It section. But I do think that Tom Brady will definitely make the Bucs better, and I'm still excited to watch because now he's got weapons, and I know that doesn't mean everything just because he didn't have a lot of weapons. He still had the best defense in the league, or one of the top 3 defense in the league, Tom Brady. But with this offense, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this year. And I do wish him the best. I hope he goes and fucking lights it up. Proves everyone wrong.
Time out. Before you cut off this, time out real quick. 2 things.
What's up?
1, he is on a 10 times better offense than last year. That defense carried them the first half of the season to victories. Carried. Gilmore had multiple pick sixes that just carried that defense and the team. Right. Second off, they made no adjustments this year. What offensive pieces have they made? So Tom Brady going back to the Patriots would be the same exact thing as last year. They struggled on offense, so I don't see why it would be better than last year's team. So for me personally, I think that it's a big power move by him. I don't think that he's going to decline. I think that he just had a rough year with the offense, and I agree with you. He obviously is making the Bucs better than Jameis, but I do think that it was the smart move for him to get out of there and at least have some talent and some pieces around him now.
I'm not saying it's a bad move by him, but I'm just saying that you see how the rest of the league views him. The guy's not that good anymore. He had an opportunity and he went and took it, and that's great. But that doesn't mean that he's a good quarterback. If he was a good quarterback, teams would have been lining up to replace their guys with him. Indianapolis went with Phillip Rivers.
Well, that's just dumb. That's just a bad move.
Come on.
Hey, listen to me. Has he declined? Yes. I'll agree with you on that. He has declined.
Is he better than 30-pick Jameis? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and is he still a
top quarterback and they'll have a better chance just because I'll take sacks rather than throw interceptions?
Is he still, let me ask you this, is he still a top 5 quarterback in the league this year?
No.
You don't think so?
Not even close.
Okay.
I don't think he was the past few years.
Well, last year he clearly wasn't.
But you're saying that there was no fall off, or he hasn't been falling off. I think he has been at least a little bit in the past couple of years. I don't think he's still at that same great quarterback level. you know?
I agree with you. I just think that it was a bad fit with last year's team. He didn't have a lot of pieces. He usually had
Yeah.
Gronk in the past. He had Hernandez in the past. He's always thrived off the tight ends. He's always thrived off the tight ends. Him and Gronk had the best combination that you could have asked for. That was his success. Then you had Randy Moss, and you had Julian Edelman, and you had a decent run game. That's a complete package. Last year, he had Julian Edelman, who's a slot receiver, basically playing the one. He had no tight end. He had no tight end. He had
James White was their second leading receiver.
He had ex-Saint. Who was the Saints tight end? Who was the Saints tight end that came in like week 8? Who was it?
I don't remember.
He had no
that
pieces.
old motherfucker.
He had no pieces. So Ben
Yeah,
Watson. There you go. That's who it is. Fucking old ass Ben Watson. My point is, I don't think he. I think he had to get out. I think he got out at the right time.
Surprised you this year. They had 3 starting linemen hurt. By the way, they talk about him not having pieces. Yeah, he lost Gronk. I get that. You don't just replace a Gronk the next year. They tried to sign Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown turns out is a fucking nuthead. But they had N'Keal Harry. They had Julian Edelman. They had multiple running backs that they could use. They lost 3 offensive linemen due to injury.
He makes a good point. It's not like they didn't try.
This year, yeah. Like everyone acts like Bill Belichick was just like, oh, I'm just not going to have any offensive playmakers this year, and I'll let Tom figure it out. That's not what happened. They're going to be back this year. They'll probably win the division again. Like, I think everyone's, I understand that Gronk was gone, but that was really the only difference. You can't fix that in a year. It doesn't happen.
He's got a lot more pieces with Tampa now, but
we'll see.
All right. We got a couple comments cooking that I want to get to. So let's start off with this, boys. Where will be the new destination for Cam Newton? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Joey, you up first.
I'm torn on this one because I really thought Chicago was a great fit just because him and Mitch Trubisky seem to have like relatively similar skill sets. And I think that Newton would have been a great guy to push Trubisky. They could really see like if he was going to be the answer or not. And then if he's not, a healthy Cam Newton, I think is still a pretty good option. Now, I'm not so sure. Redskins just traded for Kyle Allen, I think either this morning or yesterday. So I think that really tells you how Ron Rivera thinks of Cam Newton's at least health at the moment. I think a place like San Diego, I think kind of makes sense just to have like a veteran presence there. I think Tyrod Taylor is their current starter, which I think he's shown enough at this point that he's not going to be the answer. That I think that's the type of place that he could land. They'll probably still take a high pick. But at least have him there, kind of compete, push, teach, that sort of situation. So, gun in my head, I'd say probably LA Chargers.
All right. Bones?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Mallett. I thought Redskins at first, just because of Ron Rivera. Obviously, he was the Panthers coach in the past. Players can't really have physicals right now. It's hard for them. So, Ron Rivera, I feel like, would know the health most of Cam Newton over the past few years and see if he is ready to even play. But like Mallett said, the Redskins are probably out of the option now. So I think the Chargers is the best fit for him. It's a little bit different style.
What it do, Quam?
A little bit different style than Phillip Rivers. But I don't really know where else he would go. I don't see him with the Patriots. I don't see him, like I said, with the Redskins. So I'm hoping to see him with the Chargers now, being that Tom Brady went to Tampa.
Okay. Yeah. Personally, I was thinking about it, and like I saw on DraftKings they have the Cam Newton special. You brought it up last time, Ken, but they the Redskins are the favorite for where he's supposed to go right now, and then I think it's followed by the Patriots and then the Chargers. I don't see him like the Redskins would make sense because I think there's a lot of position or a lot of quarterbacks for teams that want to keep them as their starting quarterback and wouldn't want to pay Cam Newton and have 2 guys on their team. Like the Tyrod Taylor thing makes it interesting. Like if they didn't have him, I'd say that'd be the perfect fit for Cam Newton, but they have him. And I think they're going to draft Justin Herbert, or that's what they're planning on doing. So then you look at the Redskins, but it's like, why did Ron Rivera leave the Panthers if he's just going to fucking pick up Cam Newton right away again? Like he's trying to start fresh, and I get it. Cam Newton, he could probably still ball, but it's got all those health concerns, and I don't see him going to the Skins. I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I know you guys both said it too. I just have a feeling like and I don't think this is debatable. Cam Newton is a better football player than Tyrod Taylor. I think he's proven that. He's
100%.
won an MVP. He's been to the Super Bowl. The guy was voted by his peers the best player in the league at one time. He's a monster as long as he could stay healthy. So I could see him going to the Chargers. I wouldn't rule out other teams. Like, I wish and like you said, Mallett, we talked about this last time. Like, I wish the Bears didn't pick up Nick Foles because I feel like Cam Newton would be a perfect fit for the same style as Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I don't know what the Bears were thinking, kind of moving that quickly on Nick Foles, particularly when in this offseason for like the first time there's like such a like surplus of
there's Vito
quarterbacks, but like starting level quarterbacks that are available between Cam, Jameis, Nick Foles, all these guys. Like, I don't know why Chicago acted that quickly. You know, Nick Foles had that one like magical year, and then besides that, I mean, you know, it's not like the guy has been consistently good. He's been okay sometimes, you know. So I'm surprised by that, but we'll see. I mean, Cam Newton's not getting signed by anybody, I don't think, until they can actually get in there and check his shoulder out. Because the last time that I read about it, it sounds like he's not in good shape. So we'll see how that plays out. It might be a little while if Cam's sitting on his couch before he gets a contract, but you know, we'll see what happens.
Agreed. All right. From Greg, with Robbie Anderson leaving the Jets, do the Jets still have a shot for the Super Bowl? Let me be very clear, Greg. The Jets did not have a shot to win the Super Bowl, even with Robbie Anderson on the squad. But I do think they're getting better. They might have a shot to win the AFC East, but I doubt it. I'd say the Bills are the favorite in my eyes right now. But you guys.
Well, okay. So I'm going to obviously preface this with a caveat. I don't think that the Patriots are done in terms of the quarterback position. They're going to add somebody. I don't know whether it's going to be Andy Dalton, Cam Newton, a high draft pick. You know, Devin McCourty had an interview yesterday talking about how much he loves Jared Stidham. You know, I don't know if Jared Stidham's the guy or not. But with the caveat that I think the Patriots figure out a quarterback situation, at least have it somewhat settled, I still think the Patriots win the East. You know, I don't think that Josh Allen's all that great. I think that the Jets will be good, and I think that the Jets don't get enough credit for how good they were last year, particularly with Sam Darnold not being healthy for a few games. I think they'll definitely be competitive. But I just think at the end of the day, Belichick is such a good coach. I think that roster top to bottom is underrated. Their defense is still good. Special teams are good. I think that the Patriots still have to be the favorite until, you know, somebody's just clear cut better. And
until someone proves them wrong, pretty much.
Right now, Buffalo and New York aren't good enough to say, oh, they're definitively better.
I don't think definitively better, but I think the Bills are more well-rounded with once Tom Brady left. But I do think it's anyone's division besides the Dolphins. Like, you never know. The Jets could step up. I mean, who was the starting quarterback? Nick Folk for 4 games? Like, trash.
For the Jets, Luke Folk, yeah.
Oh, Luke Folk. Yeah, Nick
Folk.
Folk was the kicker from back in the day, right? Kenny, what do you think?
I'm big on the Buffalo wave, so I'm going to have to disagree with Mallett. They are the champs. They've been up at the top for years now, but this is a quarterback league. It's quarterback driven, and
all good streaks come to an end.
All good streaks come to an end, but I don't have any faith in the Patriots quarterbacks right now. I mean, they just signed Brian Hoyer. The last time I picked him up on fantasy, he broke his leg in like the first game, so I hate him. But yeah, I think the Bills have the best shot. They have a lot of talent on offense with the addition of Diggs. That's huge in my opinion. They had a really, really good defense last year. And yeah, they blew it in the playoff game to the Texans. So they very easily could have made it to the second round. I think they're very competitive, but I do think it's the Pats and the Bills on the top this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I really like the way that McDermott's running that team. Like, I think they really got a solid. Their defense was top. I think it was top 6, like in total rankings. I don't know if it was top 5, but it was right around there. And like, they were a deadly defense. Tre'Davious White, monster. And I mean, I would be scared to go play them twice a year. But I mean, still at home, like, it's the Patriots, it's Bill Belichick. I get that. But I think against the other teams, the Bills could win that division this year for the first time in a long time.
I have to say, before we move on real quick, all respect to the Bills. I think that, like you guys said, you guys made a bunch of great points. It's a good team, up and coming. But just on the whole Brady, Belichick, Pats thing, people always say about how motivated Tom Brady's going to be now and how competitive he is. Bill Belichick is quiet. Bill Belichick is the same exact way, but more intensely. If people think that Tom Brady's motivated to prove that it was him who was the reason that they were winning and not Bill Belichick is thinking the same exact thing. And he is going to make sure that that team remains competitive to prove his point that it was not Tom, that it was him. So I'm just saying.
I just want to say one more quick thing, too. I'm looking at the comments, and I want to call out Fitz real quick. Your Jets are going to go 8-8 again this year like they have for the past 10 years. So I don't know where you see any improvement on that team because it's not happening. So keep the comment section to yourself, and hopefully you have a winning season this year. Move on, Chesney.
Oh, that's what he's got to say right there. Damn, I see. Oh, yeah, I love this with all the comments. It makes it more exciting.
It makes it fun, dude. It makes it fun.
Yeah. I'm like trying to sift through these to talk about. There's mad comments, bro. Like we got hundreds of people in here. There's only 13. But all right, let's get into this right here. Real quick. Clank wants to know, what's your take on that douchebag, Rudy Gobert?
Mallett? That guy is a fucking moron, dude. A moron. I'm sorry, I usually try to defend athletes as public figures because at the end of the day, they're just people too. But holy shit, dude. Like, we're in the middle, or not the middle yet, but like the world's going through something, and this fucking idiot wipes his hands. Like, it's not funny, dude. That's what like a 13-year-old does on Instagram Live to get fucking followers. This guy is a grown-ass man and just fucking wipes his hands, and now look, no NBA. I'm not saying that it's completely his fault, but like it's kind of his fucking fault.
It's his fault, Mal. You can say it. Say it, Mal. It's his fucking fault. Say it.
I'm pissed. Rudy Gobert owes me an apology. The Nets were
He owes us an NBA season.
Yeah, for real. I want a brand new one. I want a brand fucking new one. The Nets were gonna play. The Nets played in LA that night before, and then we were supposed to go see the Lakers the next night. And I couldn't fucking go see them because Rudy Gobert had to wipe his hands on some goddamn microphones and then get wrong. Great. Thanks. Real nice. Classy move.
Loans?
Dude, I don't have anything to say. My big ticket shot, I'm just like, I don't know what else to say about this virus in this NBA. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, he's a douchebag. Yeah, he's a douchebag.
No, yeah. In his defense, I will say this. In his defense, like before, like it wasn't serious, really. Before, like we were saying it before the NBA canceled or suspended their season, like none of us were even taking this that seriously. We're like, it's like the flu. Fuck it. Like whatever. I get the flu. I'm out for a couple of days. But like I mean, he did apologize like after he realized, but like he must have known he came in contact with someone from Europe. Like he must have been like with his family or something. Like you got to be a little bit more caring and know when you're like endangering other people. But I mean, yeah, you're right, Clank. He's a douchebag.
Total douchebag.
I think this take is an easy one, boys. Look, Rudy Gobert, douchebag. Douchebag until proven otherwise.
All right, right here. Who takes the NFC East?
Of course, the fucking kid makes us talk about
that man always gotta hop in on that shit like this, dude.
That's a good talk. Well, yeah, I'm with two Giants fans here, so but
Kenny, go ahead.
Good discussion with the Eagles and the Cowboys. Let's be real. Kenny, you can go first.
I don't want to give these Eagle fans too much credit. I see Consep, I see Matt Mann, so I'm not going to go too much into this. But, I'll just lead us into our next topic. With Darius Slay of the Eagles, I got to say that it was a big pickup for them. Their secondary has been weak as shit since I was born. So I don't even know the last time they've been relevant. But it's a big pickup for them. He's been on the Lions for way too long, and his talent is too good. So I'm happy that he did get out of that organization. But the Cowboys are still going to be up there. The Redskins are going to be garbage. The Eagles have to have some players this year. They were playing with no names and guys off the street last year. So I'm going to stick, honestly, as a Giants fan, I'm going to say the Cowboys are probably going to be at the top. But I'm hoping that my boys make a push this year.
Okay. Joseph.
Um,
Just the look of disappointment already. He doesn't even start talking.
fuck, man. I have to try to take a step back here and speak about this as a football fan and not a Giants fan, because in my heart I have to say the Giants because I refuse to do anything else. But as an objective football guy, I think the Birds are going to be more competitive this year. Like Kenny said, just from a health standpoint. I mean, Boston Scott performed great at the end of the year, but at the end of the day, he's still Boston Scott. He's not supposed to be on the team. He's there purely due to injuries.
He stepped up when he had to.
Absolutely. But I think this year when they're healthy.
Oh, something's going on with your
We're losing
audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think it was because your hand was on the laptop. But continue.
Darius Slay going to be there now. That's a big pickup for their secondary. So they'll be competitive, but I just think the Cowboys, too much talent. Mike McCarthy's there now to be the head coach. I think he's going to really get that locker room figured out. And I just think a healthy Cowboys team is a safer bet than a healthy Eagles team right now. So I guess the Cowboys, but the Giants though, you know what I mean?
Okay. I see you. Personally, I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm being as unbiased as possible. I just think that the Cowboys, I need to see it before I'm gonna believe it. You know what I mean? They're just the kind of team, they just always are just not, they don't step up when they have to, and they have all the talent in the world, and then you fucking pay Zeke all this money, and then you franchise tag your franchise quarterback. And you're not taking care of the one guy that you should be taking care of off the bat. And it just worries me. I think there's going to be a disconnect with that offense. Well, at least with Dak Prescott. But I do think the Eagles getting Darius Slay have really increased their chances of winning this division. That was their biggest hole in their whole defense. They had so many injuries last year. They still ended up beating the Cowboys for the division. I think they got a lot of talent, great defensive line. And with that addition, they're going to be scary. They're going to be scary, especially playing at home. I see that. So there you go, man. You like that? You like that a little bit? Who else is Eagle fans?
Hartzell,
yeah.
Batman.
Next topic.
Yeah.
My stomach is starting to curl.
All right, let's talk about my fucking team. I've seen this in the comments. So we could potentially be signing Jadeveon Clowney, because we got rid of Jarrell Casey earlier last week. We saved about $10 million in our cap space for it. Right now we have around 26 mil cap space, but for the draft, around 6 or 7 of that is going to have to be for the players we draft. So we have pretty much the bankroll to sign Jadeveon Clowney for a year. That's what our cap space has allowed for left. I'm not sure what John Robinson, the GM for the Titans, is thinking, because we still we're gonna have to let Logan Ryan walk if we do sign Jadeveon Clowney. And then also we won't be able to restructure a contract with Derrick Henry, which we still have the option to do until July 15th. And I wouldn't mind that happening either, because he fucking deserves it. That man is a monster. And that brings us to one topic. Derrick Henry. Could he be the number one overall pick in fantasy leagues this year? Bones, you first.
Yeah, I do. I think that he definitely can be. There's only a few running backs I think that can go number one. You can put Zeke up there. You can put McCaffrey, and I think it's going to be Derrick Henry. I think those three are going to be the top 3 picks. Alvin Kamara did have a fall-off year last year. I still think he's a beast, and I still think he's going to do better this year, so he's a top guy. But, yeah, I'll put Derrick Henry as number one. He did have a slow start last year, but you saw Chesney, being a Titans fan, and just, across the football league, he picked that shit up the second half of the year. He was a beast, just stiff-arming guys left and right. He's fast. He's definitely number one overall. And it sucks that he got tagged this year. I do think that it does suck. I wish that he did get paid But the Titans did have to sign Tannehill. I think it was a better pick than Tom Brady. So yeah, he's on a contract year. I hope that he pops off and he gets paid the money that he deserves.
Yeah, real quick before you go, Joe, I'm just gonna say, like, if he did get his whole contract, like if he got a real contract, I don't think he would be the top pick this next year, just the way that running backs are after they get paid big money. But now, like you said, he's on another contract year, and I think he's gonna be hauling again. Like good old Derrick Henry.
Actor Cito, baby. Yeah, I gotta agree with Kenny on this one. I mean, I just think it's between Derrick Henry, CMC, and Saquon. Actually, I can't say Zeke, just because I can't. I just can't. But I think any of those three, Saquon's going to be in a new offense, we assume, or at least one that's not exactly similar to what they ran last year. He's got the ankle thing going on. CMC's got a lot of volume, but same sort of situation where he's going to be learning a new offense. We don't know for sure what Teddy Bridgewater is kind of going to be yet. The last time he was a full-time starter was, I can't even tell you the year. And he played on a Saints team last year that I don't know how much credit you can give him for winning those couple games. And
when you have Michael Thomas, you're throwing to a fucking monster.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you throw the ball within like 20 feet around him.
But Derrick Henry, and one big thing, they're talking about how he started slow last year, but he started with Marcus Mariota playing quarterback for him. Now he's got a full year with Ryan Tannehill playing quarterback. I think that he's going to be, like you guys said, motivated coming on that contract year. So, yeah, I mean, is it a clear cut, like, oh, you need to draft him number one? No, but can you make a strong case for it? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I would say, well, obviously I've been saying this for a while, like even since last season, that I'm picking Derrick Henry number one overall. Like you remember, Kenny, I've been saying this for a while now. I'm picking him number one overall, but now it seems like he really should be, along with either Saquon or Christian McCaffrey. I think Saquon has a little bit more upside, and I think Christian McCaffrey might be a little bit more consistent. But with that new offense, I just can't. I'm not going to take a risk on a first overall pick. So I'm going with Derrick Henry. That's my man's right there. He's going to light it up again. I can't wait till we get into more fantasy discussions. Like once we get closer, that's like my favorite shit. But all right, let's see. Is Justin Herbert underrated? I think that he's overrated. I think he's a fucking scrub. And honestly, me and Kenny, it was the first game of the season.
It was
right?
the first game of the season. Ever since then, I thought he's been a scrub.
Against Auburn.
Yep.
Guy's fucking trash, bro. He can't throw any routes besides short balls. I don't think I've ever seen him throw the ball down the field, at least when I was watching a game.
Yo.
I don't trust him, no. But you guys.
Herbert is your stereotypical fucking huge, strong arm quarterback that everyone falls in love with because they think they can make him a quarterback, and he's not a quarterback. We saw this with like Ryan Mallett. You see with like Tom Savage. You see with all these guys, and coaches see a 6'6", big-bodied, strong kid, and they're like, "Oh, I can make him into a quarterback." Look, is he decent? Yeah. Will he have like a moderate career? Maybe, but he's certainly not worthy of a top 5 pick. He's just, I don't get what all the hype is, to be honest. I didn't see him win big games in college. Like he's played in a system at Oregon that tends to actually bloat stats for quarterbacks. And I mean, he was always competitive, but never really like the guy. And quite honestly, I don't see it.
All right. Jones?
I agree with you, Chesney. I think he's overrated. I think there's only 2 quarterbacks this year. Obviously, Tua and Burrows. That's it. I think that those are the only 2 that are going to pan out and be legit. Besides that, yeah, overrated. I wouldn't take him on my team. I lost faith in him after the Auburn game, which was a very long time ago, and my faith is not coming back for him. So he's beat.
Okay. Let me ask you.
Baby, that's it.
Let me ask you guys a question. What? Do you think it'd be outrageous if Tua were to go number 1 overall instead of Joe Burrow?
Not at all. Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow, and it's not even close. If Tua had a healthy hip, this man would be the number 1 pick without question. Nick Saban said it himself that the guy's arm and accuracy, vision, everything is something that he's never seen before. The kid is electric. He's won big games. Joe Burrow had one
Humble kid.
incredible season. Don't get me wrong. Joe Burrow, incredible season. Joe Burrow played in an offense that bloated his stats. Joe Burrow made the throws he needed to. He had a couple great wide receivers. He had a great team around him. Obviously, Tua did too. But Joe Burrow before that got beat out by two guys at Ohio State, had to transfer as a graduate to even get the job at LSU. I don't like falling in love with one season. I think Tua showed it throughout his career how good he is. I think if Tua was healthy, he's the guy, no doubt. No doubt. And honestly, even if you want number one now, it's a risk because of the hip, and I wouldn't hate it. I might actually like it.
Okay. Kenny?
Yeah, I agree. I take Tua. I'm pissed that he got hurt last year. He definitely would have been the clear cut.
Real quick. Are you guys saying that you would take him now, or you're just saying if he was healthy?
I'm saying I would consider taking him now for sure.
I wouldn't consider it. I mean, you can, but just because of injury in the past, I wouldn't. I mean, I'd still go with Burrow. But if he didn't get hurt, 150%. He was the clear cut number one, before this injury, in my opinion. So I definitely would have taken him. I think he still is going to be a beast. I think the Dolphins pick him up. I still think he's going to perform. But he's just unfortunately not going to get the number one because of his injury.
I looked up today, posted a video throwing passes. Woo!
We'll see.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's a good video. But I honestly, I've been going back and forth with this, but my thoughts are that Joe Burrow did something that I've never seen anybody do. Like, I don't care who you talk, like what he was doing, and especially in that championship game, the throws that he was making, like it literally, I was just sitting on my couch, like fucking mouth wide open. I couldn't believe like some of the throws this guy was making, and you can't teach shit like that. Like I remember the one play, he almost gets sacked in the pocket, rolls all the way out to the right, and it was kind of like that Russell Wilson throw to the back of the end zone where you just thought he was throwing it out of bounds.
Yeah,
he's rolling all the way out to the right, and on his last step, just heaves a ball deep to like Justin Jefferson, and he takes it for like 45, 50 yards. It was, and once I saw that, I was like, dude, this guy is electric in some way. And I'm not saying anything against Tua, but I just think with the injury potential, he's been injured a few times before. I got to go Joe Burrow first overall. And he's a Cincinnati kid or an Ohio kid, not Cincinnati, but so I just think that's the best move for them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it even matters at the end of the day. Whoever you put a quarterback for the Bengals is going to be fucking destined to fail anyway because that organization is a joke. But I think that you can make an argument for both. I've watched a lot of Tua. I mean, obviously as a Bama guy, and I've seen Joe Burrow do some good things, but at the end of the day, one season versus 3 seasons for Tua, or at least 2 and part of that first season, I just think that you can make a case to still take Tua. I'm not saying definitively still take him. I'm saying you could definitely make a case for them still taking Tua.
Yeah, it's just the injury potential. That's all it is. And I mean, if he was completely healthy, Tua would be going first overall. I'm pretty confident in that. But you can't take that risk. Can't take that risk. Like everybody's commenting on it.
All right, boys, we'll see what happens. I don't know. Be real pissed at themselves for not taking them, but we'll see.
So I'm seeing a lot of chatter in the chat box about LeBron James versus Giannis.
I was gonna say, bring this shit up and let me start this fucking section going.
All right, Ken, what do you got to say about it?
Fuck LeBron James, man. Fuck LeBron. He's a bum ass. I need Giannis to just go into the playoffs this year, dominate the East, which he's gonna do, and fucking take it to LeBron if he even gets to the finals and put him in the dirt. LeBron is having a great season. Yes, he is LeBron. He's the GOAT. He's the God. But to me, in my opinion, he's not going to win it again. And Giannis has the better team. He's got the better support. He's the MVP clear cut again. Better numbers than last year, matching the same numbers this year. Yeah, LeBron stopped in one game, but what happened when they played in Milwaukee earlier in the year? They fucking shit on the Lakers. It got close to the end, but they dominated. So when Fitz says Giannis got bitched when they went head to head, guess what, Fitz? When they match up in the playoffs, You want to put a little wager down, me and you, a little friendly handshake? We can do it. You want to put $1,000 on it? We can do that too. You let me know when you wanted to do it, when the time comes, fits, and we'll get after it, buddy.
Joseph?
I mean, this is tough because I see all the things that Kenny's saying, which I usually don't, but this time I do. I think LeBron James is a better basketball player than Giannis. I don't think that that's a conversation. But the reason why I can't say that LeBron should win MVP is because the Lakers have Anthony Davis. That's still a playoff team in the West with or without LeBron. Giannis is literally more valuable to Milwaukee because Milwaukee is okay, sort of, without him. And they're the number 1 seed without a doubt and probably going to steamroll their way through the East with him. And I think that because of that difference, you have to give it to Giannis outside of the fact that a lot of his numbers are better, not substantially better, but better. You can make a case for both, but at the end of the day, like Giannis is more important to that team, particularly this season. And so I think you have to give it to Giannis.
Personally, I agree with you, Mallett, saying that LeBron James is the better basketball player. I think he still is.
No doubt.
I don't think he will be for long. I think Giannis is coming for that. I think Giannis is going to get his jump shot better, be more of a triple threat on offense. But I do like if they were to meet in the finals this year, I think the Lakers would win. And it goes back to everything, like just everything with Kobe Bryant that happened. LeBron James, he's winded down. He doesn't have a few more years left. He's only got a few more years left, most likely. Like, I don't know, maybe he'll be like Tom Brady and play till 44, but I doubt it. So I think that this is, and especially now that they're getting a rest, if the NBA season comes back, LeBron James is going to be 100% rested, and it's going to be like starting a new season when they only have a month left of regular season games and then the postseason. So I think they're going to be well rested, and I think that's an advantage for the Lakers over any other team. And I didn't have the Lakers winning the finals a few weeks ago, but now I like the Lakers. Any last comments, boys, before we move on?
Fuck LeBron out of the way, dude.
Yeah, I'm not big on LeBron.
I'm just gonna slip that in there real quick.
I know everybody hates on LeBron, bro.
Personally,
he's not one of the greatest players we've ever witnessed
in
our lives.
He's the best basketball player I've ever gotten the opportunity to watch live. That doesn't mean he's not a pussy boy.
My thing is this too. I want to say this. LeBron's old. I think that it might take him a little bit to get back into the swing of things, being with this break. He might be, healthy. But I got to agree with Clank, and you beat me to it. You put it up there. I've been saying Kawhi and the Clippers all year long. I mean, Kawhi's a winner. He did it last year in Toronto and took out the entire East.
MVP, we're talking about MVP of the 4th seed? Like, what? Come on.
Well, who?
Kawhi?
What?
The Clippers were the 4th seed.
It doesn't matter about seeds, bro. That team is stacked. They're deep.
Yeah, but MVP, are we talking about championship aspirations?
I'm saying that LeBron might not even make it to the finals this year. They might not even make it and play against Giannis. That's my point. I don't even know if that team's gonna make it there. I think Giannis dominates.
I don't know if Giannis makes it either.
Who's gonna take out the Bucks?
The Heat, boy, watch out for those Miami motherfuckers.
Stop. You guys are out of your mind, man. You guys are out of your mind.
Just saying.
Wait, Mallett, isn't KD gonna come back since the season's delayed?
I'm just saying.
Watch out for them Nets, boy.
I'm just saying, if the season gets delayed and Kevin Durant goes to Sean Marks and Kevin Durant says, yo, Sean, I'm playing in the playoffs. I'm healthy. Let's do this. The Nets are going to be a fucking problem. And that whole thing I said about Giannis just goes out the window because Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn fucking Nets have something to say about it.
Speaking of the Sixers, do they have any chance? Do they have any chance to win the East? Oh, I already mentioned the Heat, Quam. Don't worry. You better watch out for that Heat team. They got ballers down there. Bam's the boy.
I think the Sixers do have a chance. I mean, there's too much talent on that team to sit here and say that they don't have a chance. I don't know who the problem is. I don't know if it's Ben Simmons. I don't know if it's Joel Embiid. I don't know if it's the coach. But they have a lot of shit to figure out. On top of the fact that Al Horford apparently sucks now. I don't know what happened to him. But whatever. But yeah, I do think they have a chance. I just think that Giannis is really motivated this year. The Bucks are a great team, top to bottom. And unless Kevin Durant comes back, I don't think you can really have too much of a. I think there's a ton of competition. I think the Raptors are good. The Raptors definitely have an outside shot too. But again, the talent level on the Bucks is just different. And so would I be shocked if the Sixers did it? No, but I think at the end of the day, the Bucks have to be the clear favorite.
Yeah, I think it's Bucks or Heat for sure. Personally, I think the Heat are just like. Oh wait, these comments are blowing up. But I think the Heat are just like a dark horse kind of team that just Jimmy Butler is gonna go. He's gonna play in big games. You know he's gonna step up. They got a nice squad down there. Duncan Robinson shooting threes. We got all kinds of players. And I'm rooting for the Heat in the East, especially since our bet is shot now. Ken, like fuck it. I hope the Bucks lose now in the East.
My bet's not shot yet. I still need the Bucks, dude.
What, to win $600 on a $2,000 bet?
$3K, bro. If the Bucks win it all, or the East.
Okay. All right, that's not that bad.
I agree with you though. I think the Heat are gonna compete. I don't think the Sixers are gonna do much, dude. I don't like Embiid and Simmons together. Mike Brown is just not a very good coach. I think he should have been fired for a while ago. But yeah, I think it comes down to the Heat and the Bucks in the East.
And do you think there's anybody in the West that can challenge either the Lakers? Like, do you think the Rockets, if they somehow got shit together? No?
No shot.
What about anybody else? The Nuggets? The Mavs?
Nobody, dude.
And nobody else. It's just the Clippers or Lakers.
Lakers, bro.
Yeah, easily.
Okay. All right.
For sure.
All right. I like this by Mo right here. What are your thoughts on what the NCAA should do for all seniors who couldn't compete in the NCAA championships?
Everybody's got to get.
Let's start with Joseph.
For sure. The NCAA usually fucks these things up because the NCAA is not really well run. But I think you have to give the kids another year eligibility. I don't really see what the argument is for not. The season got ruined. I mean, they didn't. It's not even like they. I don't know. They got a lot of stuff taken away from them between the conference tournaments, March Madness, all the wrestling. I forget where they're at in wrestling, but ton of wrestling taken away. I think they were at the point of conference trips too. And you have to give the kids another year eligibility. I don't know what you do in terms of classes and stuff or how that would work, but I think that's just the right thing to do at this point. So I think that's what, and in these sorts of special circumstances, the best you can do is the right thing to do, right thing by the boys, and the right thing by the athletes is to give them another year.
Okay. Kenny?
Agreed, Mallett. You got to give them another year. I mean, before the tournament was even canceled, they canceled. Well, they awarded, Yale, the Ivy League. Harvard didn't even get a chance to compete. You're taking away a potential NCAA bid for some of these teams because of the virus and all that. So I agree. You got to give them another year. I don't know how they could incorporate that, but the whole world is trying to incorporate new rules and stuff with this virus out. So I think it's only fair to give these kids another shot. And, I would love to see some of the Rupp boys back trying to make another push at the NCAA tournament next year.
Facts. I mean, it really does suck that Rutgers finally makes the tournament, and then, of course, it gets canceled. Like, shouts out to Geo Baker, Ron Harper Jr. Those guys are studs. I hope they come back to play next year. But I agree with you guys. The only issue I think it gets a little dicey is, like, what do you do with incoming freshmen that were like going to have scholarships for that roster spot on the team that now wouldn't have that spot because they're giving all these seniors extra time? Like, is there a way that they could work that out? Like maybe redshirting them or something along those lines? What do you guys think?
I don't think that the red shirt is a bad idea. I don't know how this would work either, but I don't know if maybe they could just give everyone another year of eligibility. I mean, obviously these are like very drastic things to be done, but at the same time, like this is a situation that we've never been in before. So I think, when it comes to special circumstances like this, you have to think outside the box a little bit. You don't want to ruin a season of eligibility for a freshman either. Like, that's a good point. So I think either give them a redshirt year or, if give them another year of eligibility or something. But I don't know. It's a tough tough situation to be in because you're also, particularly with wrestling, you're going to have an overcrowding of rosters. Because usually there was always stiff competition. Freshman comes in and automatically takes a senior spot because of who he was in high school. So now you have kids returning, and there's only how many ever spots to go around. At least in basketball, you can do rotation. Like I think it's easier to sort of manage a bigger roster, and wrestling is going to be kind of tough. So I don't know, difficult call, but off the top of my head, I think another year of eligibility just across the board is probably at least the fairest thing to do, depending on when everything goes back to normal.
I think, like you guys said, like the fact that the whole world is dealing with these kinds of issues, like it's not just the NCAA that's got to figure shit out. Like the Olympics had to do it. All these sports leagues are going to have to do it too. Like the NBA might have to change when their next season starts if it comes back in late July. So I'm confident that they will do something. I don't think they're just going to make these seniors have to leave. So I'm confident they'll do something about it. We're just going to have to wait and see, though. Bones, any last comments on that?
No, agreed. I think redshirting might be a good move. It's going to be tough with other sports. Like Mallett was saying, basketball is a little bit easier. But yeah, you got to figure something out, and I'm sure they will, within the next few months or whatnot.
Okay. I want to ask you guys this. We actually did a lot of our questions and leave it or believe it, just like
I know, I see that.
talking about shit. But do you guys think that this contract for Ezekiel Elliott will be the last max contract for a running back or major contract for a running back in the near future? I won't say in the rest of the time, but of the NFL, but I'm saying like near future, next 10 years, we'll say.
Yeah.
Joey?
Oh.
All right, we'll go. Kenny, you go.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I do, honestly. I think Zeke got the last big contract. It wasn't even easy for him. Him and Jerry Jones battled with that, and he ended up getting it, which was big for him. But you've seen these other big contracts with running backs in the past. You saw Todd Gurley, who got paid a shit ton on the Rams. Now he's on the Falcons. You had Melvin Gordon on the Chargers. And then you had Eckler, who did just as good, if not a better job, last year. So you're seeing that these, decent running backs are performing the same exact way that these other running backs are getting paid with these max contracts. And the running back is, it's a tough position in the NFL. You're getting banged up a lot. It's hard to stay in the league. It's hard to stay healthy. And like I've been saying, it's a quarterback-driven league. A lot of the money goes to the quarterbacks. So the running back position, I don't want to say it's undervalued, but I don't think that you will see another big contract like Zeke, anytime soon. Maybe Derrick Henry, if that, but besides that, I don't see it happening with any of the players in the league as of now.
Okay. Oh, 1 second before you go, Mallett. We got some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Bones is trash. That's all. Pussy. What's up? All right. You can go, Mallett. What do you got?
I'm going to believe it, too. I don't think that any running back soon is going to get a contract that sort of pushes the annual market value of these running backs significantly further. You just saw with the Todd Gurley contract, the Devontae Freeman contract, the Melvin Gordon contract that they didn't really work out as teams and the players sort of planned. I think the next guys really due up for an extension are Kamara and Saquon. Saints are kind of strapped for cash at the moment, just with the way their roster is constructed. So I don't know how they're going to be able to make that happen. And the Giants, with Saquon, I think that they'd like to pay him, particularly with it. He kind of is obviously do everything back. I think I actually. I'm trying to hold in all my coughs over here, so nobody notices, but I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not.
You're doing great. You're doing great, bud.
I'm over here like.
You're doing great, you handsome devil.
I don't think that Joe Judge does Saquon any favors in terms of getting him paid. He comes from the Bill Belichick tree, so you can just assume that he doesn't want to pay running backs that kind of money. So with those two being the next up, and with recent history showing that these contracts didn't work out, they'll get the same or similar value to what these guys got. I think Todd Gurley was around $15 million a year. I think Saquon will get something around there, but in terms of like pushing it towards 18, 20 and really moving that market forward, I don't think that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see honestly, like Derrick Henry was maybe one of the last ones that I thought could get one of these max contracts, but now even with him getting franchise tagged, it's like if he's getting tagged, then like who's going to pay someone? Like if you're not paying Derrick Henry, I don't know who is going to get that kind of check
Nobody.
now.
No, baby.
And like you said, like even we didn't even talk about the trade DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, but like they're paying the Texans. We don't even have to. That's just the worst. Bill
Bro,
O'Brien's an idiot.
dude,
Terrible GM.
that is a trade that you make on Madden and they reject it. They don't even
You're
let that
right.
shit
Yeah.
go through.
Facts.
Like that's crazy
Facts.
that even got pushed through like that.
It's like what at some point you got to wonder what the fuck you're doing as a GM. Like, doesn't someone who's like higher above, like the owner or like the president of operations, step in and like, I don't think that's a very good idea.
Roger Goodell should have stepped in and been like, "Yeah,
Yeah, we can't have this.
this is
At least it was the Cardinals and not like the Patriots, because then I would have been pissed.
cheap."
Just get everyone.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't
see
know.
it.
I don't know how Bill O'Brien still has a job, but he shouldn't. At least not in the NFL. Maybe he's good at something else, but he ain't good at this.
Yeah, but back to just that contract thing real quick. I do believe that that's one of the last major contracts for a while for a running back. Who knows? The NFL might change after a few years. We never know. But right now, it's a quarterbacks league. Running backs have been getting the short end of the stick, and that looks like it's going to be the way it's going to go for a while. And talking about that trade, do you guys think that the addition of DeAndre Hopkins makes the Cardinals a playoff contender?
No. I think that they'll definitely be better. I think that they'll be certainly competitive. You know, they were, I think, a better team last year than they got credit for, and I think that they also came on late towards the end of the season. Kyler Murray's second year in the offense is going to, I think, do big things for him. DeAndre Hopkins obviously changes the whole dynamic of that offense. But I don't think they have enough playmakers on defense yet. I don't know if we know enough about Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. And quite frankly, the NFC West is the best team in football. 49ers, Seahawks could all win the division, and you wouldn't be surprised by any of them. I think the 49ers and Seahawks are both a lock to make the playoffs. So I just think that there's too many obstacles for the Cardinals to really overcome to sort of definitely be a playoff team. But, another year goes by. We'll see what happens with the 49ers. The Rams are sort of in that weird spot right now. They're shedding contracts, still have a young quarterback. So maybe in 2 years, but I think the NFC right now, particularly the NFC West, is too strong for that right now.
Okay. Kenny, what do you think? Any shot?
No, I don't think that they have a shot. I think that they're going to be fun to watch this year, and I think fantasy purposes on that team are going to be, really, really big. But you got the 49ers, you have the Seahawks, you have the Packers, and you had, really good teams in the NFC East last year that were competing for that sixth spot. They don't have a good enough defense. I think their
Did you say
offense
really good teams in the NFC East?
I
I
meant
remember
NFC.
they were all
Sorry,
trash.
that's on me. Besides the Cowboys, and that NFC was trash, but I meant the NFC.
Team, baby.
Good teams. Nah, I don't see them. I don't even see them making the playoffs this year.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I'm not going to go too deep into it just because you're right. That division is just fucking stacked, and the NFC is really good too. And now you got Tom Brady in the NFC and everything. There's a lot to compete with, but they're definitely making the right sort of moves to get them in that discussion. So we'll see where it takes them. This is an interesting question from Robert Clank. How does postponing these seasons affect the multi-million-dollar deals these pro athletes are supposed to get?
Great question.
It's a great question.
Joe, do you have any stats on this?
Well, the NBA had continued, I think, to pay most of the players up until April 1st. I think after April 1st, they're going to sit and talk about, because I think, like I touched on before, the NBA loses out on a significant amount of money from their TV deals if they don't play a certain amount of games this season. And obviously, as of right now, with the way things stand, it doesn't look likely that they're going to play a lot of games this season, if any at all. So I would say that the likeliest outcome from this is that there's going to be a big fight between the Players Association, at least from the NBA standpoint, and owners to sort of hammer out some sort of deal on terms of recruiting compensation. Because, obviously players get paid game checks and not salary throughout the year. So if they're done playing, that's it, you know? And NHL also obviously got postponed. MLB is getting pushed back. I think MLB will probably be okay because they'll still probably play a majority of their season. There really shouldn't be too much conflict there. But NBA and NHL have pretty big problems on their hands. They're also with that too. There's arena workers and lower level staff that also are likely not going to get paid. And obviously they live more paycheck to paycheck. So things are pretty in flux. I think everyone's still holding out hope right now and sort of pretending that things will be back to normal sooner than they really will be, so that they're kind of kicking the can down the road in terms of figuring that problem out. But as of right now, yeah, I think players are concerned and rightfully so, because if this season gets canceled, they're losing out on a ton of money, and it's going to be make for an interesting conversation between the Players Association and ownership for sure.
Well said. Well said. Kenny, any contribution?
Yeah, let alone the players. I mean, not having March Madness just costed a shit ton of money. Not even having that tournament. But I like what Mark Cuban's doing. I like what Kevin Love's doing. For those workers in the arenas that aren't going to be getting paid, at least they're donating, they're contributing. But yeah,
Kyrie Irving among them. My man,
him too.
He's back. He's back.
He's not back yet. Relax.
Oh, he's back. He's back, motherfucker. He's back.
But it's going to really hurt the NHL and the NBA. Like Mallett said, the most. NBA or MLB should be in the clear. It really depends if this season is going to come back or not, and when.
All right. Right here. I wanted to talk a little bit about where we think Jameis Winston could end up, because I think that's an interesting decision. It's kind of like the same thing with Cam Newton. Like, it seems like most teams have their quarterback, and a few of them even have backups. Like Mariota's at the Raiders now, Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky on Chicago. So where are any other teams that Jameis could land? What do you guys think?
Well, personally, I think Jameis should take the money that he's earned so far throughout his career and go home, man.
Really?
It's time. That guy can't see for shit. First quarterback to throw 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. I mean, that is just you. If you actually sit down and watch a Tampa Bay Buccaneers game from last year and pick one, anyone, Jameis is clueless, dude. The guy can't see a linebacker to save his life. And interceptions aside, too, he fumbles all the time, and it's like that Eli Manning, like, clueless fumble where he just has no idea why he jumped.
Fumbles that just look the worst.
Yeah, like in no way is it an athletic, good-looking fumble. It is pathetic. But all jokes aside, I mean, well, not really jokes, but all that aside, I don't think Jameis really. There's nowhere that's going to give him a starting spot. He has too many interceptions. But he's also shown too much ability to not expect a certain amount of money, and no one's going to pay him that salary. In terms of backup spots, I guess it sort of depends. The one place I could see is maybe like a Cincinnati. They take chances on players like this, or tend to have in the past. They're clearly going to draft a quarterback number 1 overall, whoever it is. So if he's willing to take a backup type deal, maybe somewhere like that. Literally just as an insurance policy, not to teach, not to do anything, just to sit and just in case of injury, he'll play. Besides that, there's a lot of quarterbacks and not a lot of spots. And I just think that your teams at this point feel more comfortable going with someone who's not going to turn the ball over and not going to get in trouble, rather than a guy like Jameis.
I do think someone or the Broncos could potentially pick up another quarterback, because, like, who knows with Drew Lock? Like, you don't know what you're going to get. Yeah, he had a good last 5 weeks of his rookie season, but or was that his rookie season or the first season he played? Yeah. But you can't go into that, and quarterbacks are known to fall off in their sophomore year. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pick up either Jameis or Cam, someone like that. That way, if Drew Lock starts Well, I think if Cam went there, then he would be the starter. But I think Jameis would probably have to work his way up off the bench. I just don't think you can have that much faith in Drew Lock after that little of a sample size. And he only played well in about 6 games last year. So, Kenny, what do you think?
I think that you can't cut the string on him yet. I think he needs to sit back. I think he needs to sit behind a veteran. I think he needs to really just watch film and just watch the game evolve in front of his eyes, because it's obviously been way too fast for him. He's throwing way too many picks, way too many fumbles. What, Mallett?
Sorry, I'm yelling at Mo.
But yeah, just way too many picks, way too many fumbles. It's like the game is just, it's too sped up for him right now. He just got that eye surgery, so hopefully that'll help him out. But I could really see him landing in a place maybe like Pittsburgh, where he sits behind Ben Roethlisberger, who doesn't have many years left. He's sitting behind a good coach, Mike Tomlin. He can learn a lot from that system and organization, and then either maybe fill in that spot in the future, because Mason Rudolph, we've seen, isn't anything special, or he just learns how to play the game again, and it slows down for him, and then he maybe finds himself in another starting position later on down the road. But I think he needs to obviously sit back, take that that back role, and really just observe the game a little bit more than just being thrown out on the field every weekend.
Like Mallett said, it's kind of just depends on what teams are willing to offer him, because if you think about it, like the Steelers aren't going to have that much cap room after they signed Ben Roethlisberger. They're paying him like $68 million for 2 years, and this is the second year of that. But they don't have enough space to sign Jameis, I don't think, at the moment. I know the Browns have a shit ton of cap space. They have like 50 mil cap space, so like they could potentially get a Jameis or a Cam Newton and have them just in case Baker continues to blow.
Hey.
But but yeah, I mean, I think it could be anywhere, but it really just depends on what teams are willing to pay. I think it's a really like questionable amount, like for Jameis. Like you could make an argument that you would only have to pay him $5 million a year, but you can make an argument he deserves 20. You know what I'm saying? Like he was and everybody always says this, he's the best player for both teams when he's on the field.
Big facts.
And we were talking earlier about how the Bucs like defense is not very good, so Tom Brady's not going to have as much of a chance to win there. But I really think a lot of it comes down to how many turnovers that Jameis Winston had. Like he was like they were getting the ball on like inside the 50, other teams half the time, half the offensive possessions. So at that rate, like, yeah, the defense isn't going to show good numbers, and they do have a good run defense. So I wouldn't be hesitant to see Brady make a push this year. And I know that's a little off topic, but I would like to see it too. All right, boys. I mean, anything else you guys want to discuss tonight before we get out of here?
I think that about dices it up. Just hoping that sports come back to us soon. We're all hurting a little bit right now, so hope they come back. Hopefully Kevin Durant comes back healthy. Hopefully Joe Judge fixes the Giants. And hopefully things just go back to normal.
I know, man. We all got to stay safe. Fucking follow the guidelines. What do you got?
Big shout out to the boys in the comments section. We saw all you guys. Really good questions. We honestly weren't going to answer that many questions, but you guys basically took our script.
It made it mad fun, yeah.
And made it mad fun. So definitely going to keep this style up moving forward. But yeah, hopefully sports comes back. I'm losing my mind. I'm sure all you guys are losing your mind too. But yeah, I think that we got ourselves a nice little gig going here, boys.
We got just a little announcement. We got a podcast coming up this week again. Since it's all remote now, we could do a lot more of them. Remy's going to be joining us to talk a little bit about stocks, actually, the stock market during this time, this crisis. And also he's going to be our medical expert on the coronavirus. So it should be interesting. So please don't hesitate to join us. We'll be hyped. So that's it for No Handle. Number 6. Say your goodbyes, boys, if you want.
Thank you for having me on, boys. It was a pleasure being here. To everyone else out there, stay home and wash your fucking hands.
Much love. Much love.